There are certain people who are born with skills and they truly deserve to be discovered. And that's one of the factors that can be overlooked when it comes to the music industry. But getting noticed by someone who can assist you begin your music career occasionally necessitates a bold move. And that's also a fact. Many people also have tried numerous techniques to get noticed in the decades of mainstream music, such as radio, television, iTunes, and SoundCloud. However, rapper DDG has taken a road that is perhaps one of the most remarkable ones. Through this video, allow us to show you how fellow artists reveal how they really feel with the rapper DDG. Before we get into that, first, let's get to know who DDG is. DDG rose to fame as a YouTuber, uploading sketches and pranks to the video sharing site and accumulating millions of views. After establishing himself in that world, he decided to try his hand at music and rapidly become successful. Take Me Serious, DDG's 2018 EP, lived up to its name, with the single Givenchy surpassing 14 million streams and his one-off Arguments surpassing 25 million. DDG's third album, Valedictorian, was met with similar success. Shortly before its release, he sat down with XXL for the latest episode of Who Am I to discuss things. For those who don't know, I have a YouTube channel and I used to do a lot of vlogs and stuff. I have been doing YouTube for like 6 years maybe. My rap career started back when I used to do little diss tracks on YouTube, but they used to be hits though. I would get 5 million views here, 10 million views there. That's when I was like, okay, I might as well start to take this rap seriously now. I got my first feature with Famous Dex and it went crazy. I got like 400,000 views in an hour. I remember World Star Hip Hop hit me up and wanted to post it, so I let them post it so I could gain more fans of my music aside from my YouTube subscribers, DDG said. DDG's childhood in Pontiac was difficult, with continual violence and danger. It's ghetto, he says, regarding his hometown. People dying, people dropping like flies left and right. It just made me want to do better, remain in school, do different stuff, to keep off the streets, DDG says, adding that he lost a lot of friends due to death or is behind bars, and he's determined not to be one of them. Unfortunately, that's not something you hear about in the rap scene. Many people turn to rap music because they don't know what else to do and aren't scared to get real and dirty in order to make things work. But what about DDG? That was the last thing he wanted. He desired to do good and rise above his circumstances. DDG has often spoke about who he was as a child. He continues, I was big on Call of Duty for some reason. That's all I actually did. I used to sit in my basement and play the game all day, he said. But that wasn't all he did, he adds. I was a ladies' guy as well. I had all the girls, and that's where I spent the majority of my free time, girls and video games. DDG has often spoken about who he was as a child. He continues, I was big on Call of Duty for some reason. That's all I actually did. I used to sit in my basement and play the game all day, he said. But that wasn't all, he added. He adds, I was a ladies' guy as well. I had all the girls, and that's where I spent majority of my free time. Girls and video games. DDG also became a great fan of a certain powerful Queens rapper and businessman during this time. He recalls, I really listened to 50 Cent. As a kid, 50 Cent was my favorite person in the world, and I used to buy all the G-Unit games, the G-Unit outfits, and all that, he says. Later, he discovered Drake, and he considers No Long Talk and The Sixth God to be his two primary favorites. The balance is definitely excellent. What music means to him. DDG, who isn't afraid to show off what his YouTube and rap popularity have brought him, talked about his best vibe thus far. I recently purchased a Rolls-Royce Wraith, he says, referring to the vehicle he recently showcased on his Instagram account. Actually, I bought a mansion as well, which makes me sound a little bougie. Well, there's nothing wrong with flexing on what you worked hard for, right? Ballin' is an understatement. He went from having one very good and stable job to having two and being able to afford highly expensive items. And it's understandable for him to idolize someone like 50 Cent in terms of music, given the influence 50 Cent had in the rap world when he debuted, for better or worse. Here's what he said about his passion for music. I was definitely a music lover as a kid. We had a home studio in the crib, so me and my brother would always go downstairs and play in the studio. I was the class clown, but at the same time, I always did my work. So that's where the good grades came from. I think the good grades came from me being competitive. If I feel like someone's trying to compete with me, I go even harder. His goals and pursuing to aim for the top. DDG can't recall the last time he lost a game. Man, I couldn't even tell you, he says, as he sits comfortably in the middle of the studio session, attempting to recall the last time he was down. Given that the majority of DDG's life over the last 5 years has been vividly documented through thousands of YouTube vlogs, posted for over 2 million of his loyal fans, anyone might easily find any tape of a perceived mishap by conducting a simple search. Regardless, he maintains a staunch stance. I only say that because the L's I take, I don't really see them as L's. DDG's glass half full attitude pervades all aspects of his life, and it originates from his initially unshakable confidence, which he has had since he was a child. DDG was able to negotiate a deal with Epic Records without surrendering any of his terms, including the ability to own his masters, a valuable move not every new artist can lock in, thanks to his signature conviction and an immense fanbase he created from the bottom. Again, he thanks his self-assurance. I just knew exactly what I was bringing to the table, he adds. I already had everything, so not getting what I wanted from a label would be like shooting myself in the foot. Some may describe him as arrogant, but it's more of a reflection of how he sees himself. He recognizes he could be in a far worse situation right now, but he isn't. Another factor that sets DDG apart from the rest in a positive way is his genuine desire for everyone to succeed. Michigan is recognized for its thriving hip-hop rap scene, and he is a staunch believer that anyone can succeed there without criticizing each other. I like seeing everybody win, and it's hard making it out of Michigan, so it's dope to see. I always feel like I don't sound like I'm from Michigan. The music I make, I don't feel like I make it to sound like I'm from a particular place. The music scene in Michigan is beautiful, and we found a different sound. But just though he'd prefer for everyone to win and for a rising tide to elevate all boats, the rap scene is known for being cutthroat, which means it reaches to the point that the world's rappers are known to go out of their way to call out others who are infringing on their turf or simply annoying in their eyes. But in the instance of DDG, it isn't really the case. Many rappers such as Blueface and Polo G are completely in favor of DDG as a whole. Furthermore, rappers like Dababy are completely fascinated with DDG's work, even taking to social media to praise the vocalist and his producers for their work. Others such as Fulio have spoken out in support of DDG's efforts. So right now, they're really feeling DDG, and because he's making waves in terms of his success. DDG, like many other musicians, aspire more and accomplishes more, especially since some people think of him as a rapper while others think of him as just a YouTube star who makes music. To some extent, it's quite true. He wouldn't be the same without his YouTube following, and there is nothing wrong with him utilizing what he has to obtain what he wants, right? Such as recognition, attention, and money to purchase a lot of stuff. DDG has the desire and tenacity that is required in situations such as the music industry, because it's easy to get into problems by resting on your laurels. What are your thoughts about DDG, and what do you think about why some rappers praise him with his work, while others aren't on the same page with him? Do you think he should just stick to his YouTube career or continue his passion despite what others are telling? Let us know in the comment section down below, and we'll see you next time on the next video.